Imagine a world on the brink of a profound transformation. A shift so monumental, so awe-inspiring, that it will redefine everything you thought you knew. What if a young, modern-day saint, a beacon of light in our digital age, left us a secret message, a divine roadmap, for exactly what's coming? This isn't just about faith, it's about an unveiling, a revelation that has been whispered through the ages, and is now, finally, at our doorstep. Carlo Acutis, the cyber apostle, wasn't just a boy who loved Jesus and computers. He was a visionary, a spiritual pioneer whose insights into the Eucharist and the spiritual realm hold keys to an unprecedented era. He knew, he understood, and through his life and his words, he is revealing to us now that something truly extraordinary, something that will utterly shock the world, is on its way. This isn't a prophecy of doom, but a promise of profound spiritual awakening and transformation. A moment in history unlike any other, demanding our full attention and our open hearts. For years we've heard whispers of change, feelings of anticipation, a sense that something big is brewing beneath the surface of our everyday lives. But few have offered a clear path, a tangible guide, to navigate these turbulent yet promising waters. Carlo Acutis, with his vibrant faith and his profound understanding of the spiritual realities, is that guide. He shows us how to prepare, not with fear, but with an unshakable hope and a burning love for God. This video will peel back the layers of mystery, using Carlo Acutis' life and teachings as our compass. We will explore the signs he pointed to, the spiritual tools he championed, and the profound message he left for all of us about what is truly about to happen. Get ready to embark on a journey that will challenge your perceptions, deepen your faith, and prepare you for a future that will, without a doubt, shock the world. The time for passive observation is over. The time for active preparation, guided by a saint for our times, has begun. Our journey starts with understanding the very first step Carlo Acutis exemplified, the call to awareness. What does it truly mean to be spiritually aware in a world filled with distractions and noise? Carlo Acutis showed us that heaven is not a distant, abstract concept, but a vibrant, active reality constantly communicating with us. He lived with an acute awareness of this spiritual dimension, especially present in the Eucharist. He saw beyond the veil, recognizing God's hand in every detail, every event, every person he encountered. This awareness is not some complex, esoteric practice. It is about simplifying our gaze, training our hearts, to recognize the divine in the ordinary. Carlo understood that the greatest miracle, the greatest sign of God's presence, is often hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to truly see. He believed that if we could just open our eyes to the Eucharistic miracles around the world, our faith would be so strong, we would never doubt. This keen perception, this spiritual clarity, is precisely what we need to cultivate to understand the coming changes. It's about seeing beyond the superficial, recognizing God's consistent, loving presence in everything. The signs of this coming shift are all around us, if we only know where to look. Carlo's own life is a profound sign, a young, ordinary boy, deeply devoted to God, using modern technology to spread the gospel. His rapid veneration, the millions touched by his story, and the ongoing interest in his message are not coincidences. They are manifestations of a growing spiritual hunger in the world, a deep yearning for truth and meaning that cannot be satisfied by material things alone. Think about the increasing sense of unease, the widespread search for deeper purpose, the countless stories of people experiencing subtle promptings, moments of profound insight, or a sudden, unexplainable peace. These aren't random occurrences. These are the gentle nudges, the soft whispers of the Spirit, calling us to awaken. They are signs that something significant is stirring, preparing the ground for the monumental events Carlo Acutis hinted at. He saw these signs not with alarm but with a profound sense of purpose and joy, knowing they heralded a deeper communion with God. So how do we begin to cultivate this essential awareness, this spiritual vision that Carlo Acutis possessed? It starts small, with intentionality. Dedicate just 5 minutes each day to quiet reflection. Find a peaceful spot, close your eyes, and simply breathe. Don't try to force thoughts, just allow yourself to be present. Ask God to open your eyes, to help you see His presence in your day. This isn't about lengthy prayer, but about creating space for recognition. Look for moments of grace in your daily life. A beautiful sunrise, a kind word from a stranger, the laughter of a child, the perfect timing of an event. These are not accidents. They are divine touches, small miracles woven into the fabric of our existence. Carlo Acutis found joy in these simple moments, recognizing them as expressions of God's boundless love. Practice simple acts of kindness, for in serving others, we often encounter the face of Christ. Read a short passage from the Gospels each morning, allowing its wisdom to gently guide your perspective throughout the day. See God in the ordinary, and the ordinary will begin to reveal its extraordinary depth. But how do we truly discern these signs, distinguishing divine promptings from mere coincidences or our own desires? What exactly is this shock Carlo Acutis hinted at, this profound event that will redefine everything? We're just getting started. In our next segment, we'll dive deeper into Carlo's insights on the spiritual battle and the protection offered by the Eucharist, revealing how these prepare us for the great unveiling. In our last segment, we began to uncover Carlo Acutis' call to spiritual awareness, learning to see God's hand in the ordinary and recognizing the subtle signs of a profound shift. We asked how to discern these divine promptings and what exactly this shock Carlo hinted at might be. Now let's delve into another crucial aspect of Carlo's wisdom, his understanding of the spiritual battle and the unparalleled protection offered by the Eucharist. He knew that to face what's coming, we need strong spiritual armor. Carlo Acutis wasn't naive about the world. He understood that there are forces constantly working to distract us from God, to sow confusion, and to diminish our faith. He didn't speak of abstract evil, but of real spiritual challenges that manifest in our daily lives as temptations, doubts, and a general feeling of spiritual fatigue. For Carlo, this wasn't about fear, it was about sober awareness. He saw the Eucharist as our ultimate weapon, our shield, and our source of strength in this unseen battle. He famously called the Eucharist, "my highway to heaven," recognizing its immense power to connect us directly with Christ. How do these spiritual challenges manifest in our modern world? Think about the constant noise, the endless distractions of social media, the pervasive sense of anxiety, or the creeping cynicism that attempts to undermine our hope. These are not just societal trends. For Carlo, they were also symptoms of a spiritual struggle. When we feel overwhelmed, when our prayers feel dry, when we struggle to find peace amidst chaos, these are signs that our spiritual defenses might be weakened. The world tries to pull us in 1,000 different directions, away from the simplicity and truth of God's love. Carlo's life was a testament to resisting these pulls, focusing instead on the eternal. The Eucharist stands as the ultimate counterforce to these spiritual attacks. It is not merely a symbol. For Catholics, it is truly the body and blood of Christ, a divine presence that nourishes our souls, strengthens our resolve, and fills us with grace. Carlo Acutis spent countless hours in Eucharistic adoration, firmly believing that this encounter with Christ was the most powerful act we could undertake. He understood that receiving the Eucharist worthily, or simply spending time in its presence, provides an impenetrable shield against spiritual darkness and fills us with the light needed to navigate any challenge. So how can we practically embrace this Eucharistic protection in our lives, just as Carlo Acutis did? Make a conscious effort to attend Mass regularly and receive communion with a prepared heart. If you can, dedicate even a short amount of time each week to Eucharistic adoration, whether in person or through spiritual communion, if physical presence isn't possible. Simply sitting in quiet contemplation before the Blessed Sacrament, or even just acknowledging Christ's real presence when you pass a church, can be profoundly transformative. Beyond direct Eucharistic practice, cultivate a habit of daily prayer, even if it's just a few minutes. Turn to Mary, the Mother of God, as a powerful intercessor and guide. Carlo had a deep devotion to Our Lady, recognizing her role in leading us closer to her Son. Recite a Hail Mary or the Rosary, asking for her protection and guidance. These simple, consistent practices build a spiritual fortress around your soul, preparing you for anything. Remember, Carlo didn't complicate faith. He made it accessible and powerful. But if the Eucharist is our shield, What exactly are the specific challenges this coming shock will bring that require such divine protection? How will this global transformation test our faith, and what other tools did Carlo Acutis leave us to navigate the uncharted waters ahead? We're about to explore the critical role of divine mercy and the path to true conversion in our next segment. We've explored Carlo Acutis's call to spiritual awareness and the vital protection offered by the Eucharist in the face of spiritual challenges. We've touched upon the unseen battles and the power of Christ's presence to strengthen us. Now, let's move to another cornerstone of Carlo's message, one that is absolutely essential for understanding and navigating the profound changes ahead: the boundless nature of divine mercy and the urgent call to true conversion. This isn't just about avoiding sin, it's about embracing a radical transformation of heart that prepares us for a new era. Carlo Acutis lived in an age where many feel distant from God, weighed down by guilt, or unsure of how to truly change. He profoundly understood that God's mercy is not a limited resource, but an infinite ocean, always available, always overflowing. He saw confession, for instance, not as a punishment, but as a bath for the soul, a divine reset button that allows us to start fresh, cleansed and renewed. He knew that the coming shock would require hearts completely aligned with God, capable of radiating His love and forgiveness to a world in need. This deep understanding of mercy fuels true conversion, pulling us away from self-focus and towards God's eternal embrace. The signs that highlight the need for this radical conversion are everywhere. Look at the increasing polarization, the widespread moral confusion, the growing despair and emptiness felt by so many, despite material abundance. These are not merely social issues, they are spiritual symptoms, indicating a deep separation from the source of all goodness. People are yearning for meaning, for forgiveness, for a way out of the spiritual darkness that often pervades modern life. Carlo Acutis saw this yearning and offered a clear, simple solution: turn back to God, embrace His mercy, and allow Him to transform your heart. He understood that superficial changes wouldn't suffice. A deep interior shift was necessary for what was coming. Divine mercy is not just for the big sins. It's for every time we fall short, every moment we choose ourselves over God, every instance of unkindness or neglect. It's a constant invitation to return to love. Carlo Acutis emphasized that even small acts of contrition, a sincere desire to do better, are met with overwhelming love and forgiveness from God. He knew that this outpouring of mercy would be crucial in the times ahead, as humanity grapples with unprecedented changes and faces a stark choice: embrace God's love or succumb to despair. His life was a living testament to the transformative power of a merciful heart, always ready to forgive and be forgiven. So, how do we practically open ourselves to this infinite wellspring of divine mercy and embark on a path of true conversion, as Carlo Acutis encouraged? The most direct path is through the sacrament of reconciliation. Make a commitment to go to confession regularly, not out of fear, but out of a desire for spiritual freedom and renewal. Prepare your heart beforehand by examining your conscience, honestly reflecting on areas where you've fallen short. Remember Carlo's perspective: it's a bath for the soul, a chance to cleanse and restart. Beyond the sacrament, cultivate a spirit of daily repentance and gratitude. At the end of each day, review your actions and thoughts. Where did you act with love? Where did you fall short? Offer a simple prayer of sorrow for your failings, and ask for God's grace to do better tomorrow. Practice forgiving others, even those who have hurt you deeply. For in forgiving, we open our hearts to receive more of God's mercy ourselves. These small, consistent acts of turning towards God will gradually transform your heart, making you ready for the profound spiritual awakening that Carlo Acutis foresaw. But what about the specific details of this shocking event? How will these preparations through awareness, protection and mercy truly intersect with the world-changing revelations that Carlo Acutis hinted at? Our next block will explore his insights into the power of intercession and the communion of saints, revealing how the spiritual realm actively supports us in these transformative times. We've journeyed through Carlo Acutis' teachings on spiritual awareness, the protection of the Eucharist, and the transformative power of divine mercy and conversion. Each step is a building block, preparing us for the profound shift he knew was coming. Now, let's explore another vital aspect of his spiritual wisdom: the immense power of intercession and the dynamic reality of the communion of saints. Carlo understood that we are not alone in this journey. An entire spiritual army is actively supporting us. Carlo Acutis lived with a vibrant awareness of heaven as a living reality, not a distant concept. He knew that the saints, those who have gone before us and are now with God, are not just historical figures, but active participants in our lives, interceding for us and offering spiritual assistance. He saw the communion of saints as a powerful, interconnected network of love, a bridge between heaven and earth. For Carlo, invoking the saints, especially his guardian angel and the Blessed Mother, was a natural and powerful way to navigate life's challenges and prepare for the spiritual battles ahead. He knew that in the face of earth-shattering changes, this spiritual support would be more crucial than ever. The signs of this powerful intercession are often subtle but profound. Think of those moments when you feel an inexplicable peace during a crisis, or when an answer to a prayer seems to come out of nowhere, perfectly timed. Perhaps you felt a strong, comforting presence during a difficult time, or received unexpected guidance through a dream or a fleeting thought. These aren't always coincidences. These can be the gentle touches of the saints, the unseen interventions of our spiritual allies, guiding us, protecting us, and strengthening us. Carlo Acutis was acutely attuned to these spiritual promptings, recognizing them as signs of God's loving care, often delivered through his heavenly court. The power of intercession means that our prayers for others, and the prayers of the saints for us, are incredibly effective. When we pray for someone, we are not just sending good thoughts, we are actively participating in God's plan, inviting His grace to work in their lives. Similarly, when we ask the saints to pray for us, we are tapping into a vast reservoir of spiritual power, uniting our humble prayers with the powerful intercession of those already glorified in heaven. Carlo encouraged everyone to build relationships with saints, to learn their stories, and to ask for their specific help, knowing that their closeness to God makes their petitions particularly potent. This communion is a profound source of hope and strength for the challenging times ahead. So how do we practically engage with this incredible resource of intercession and the communion of saints, just as Carlo Acutis did? Start by choosing a patron saint, someone whose life or story resonates with you. Learn about them, read their writings, and ask for their intercession daily. It could be Carlo Acutis himself, or Saint Francis, or Saint Therese of Lisieux. Build a relationship with them, speaking to them as you would a dear friend. Beyond personal devotion, make intercessory prayer a regular part of your spiritual practice. Pray for your family, your friends, your community, and for the world. Offer up specific intentions, knowing that every prayer, no matter how small, has an impact. When you pray the Rosary, you are not only meditating on the life of Christ but also invoking the powerful intercession of Mary, the Queen of Saints. Remember, you are never alone. The entire heavenly court is cheering you on, ready to assist you in navigating the coming world-shaking events. But what exactly is the nature of this shock that Carlo Acutis foresaw? Is it a single event or a series of transformations? And how will our awareness of these spiritual realities truly equip us to understand and respond to the unprecedented changes on the horizon? In our next segment, we'll delve into Carlo's vision of the future, exploring his insights into the era of peace and the critical role of the Eucharist in ushering it in. We've journeyed through Carlo Acutis' teachings on spiritual awareness, Eucharistic protection, divine mercy and conversion, and the powerful intercession of the communion of saints. Each step has built a foundation, preparing us for what lies ahead. Now, it's time to pull back the curtain a bit more and explore Carlo's profound vision of the future, specifically his insights into what many refer to as an era of peace, and the absolutely critical role of the Eucharist in ushering it in. This is where the pieces truly begin to come together, revealing the shock he hinted at. Carlo Acutis, with his deep spiritual intuition, understood that human history is moving towards a definitive, glorious culmination. He wasn't focused on apocalyptic predictions, but on a hopeful transformation, a period where God's will would be done on earth as it is in heaven, in a profound new way. This isn't a passive waiting game, it's an active participation in bringing about a world saturated with divine love and peace. For Carlo, the Eucharist was not just a means of personal sanctification, but the very engine of this global spiritual renewal. He saw it as the sun around which our entire lives, and indeed the world, should revolve. He knew that when humanity truly embraces the Eucharist, the shock will not be one of destruction, but of an overwhelming outpouring of grace and peace. The signs that this era of peace is on the horizon are often paradoxically intertwined with the very chaos we see around us. Think about the increasing number of Eucharistic miracles reported globally, the renewed interest in adoration, and the growing hunger for authentic spiritual experiences that transcend denominational boundaries. These are not isolated incidents, they are spiritual tremors, indicating a powerful divine movement. At the same time, the intensifying darkness in the world, the moral confusion, the widespread anxiety, the spiritual battles we discussed earlier, serves as a stark contrast, highlighting the urgent need for this era of profound peace and light. Carlo understood that the greater the darkness, the more brightly the light of Christ in the Eucharist can shine, leading us into this promised future. The Eucharist, as Carlo frequently emphasized, is the true presence of Jesus Christ. It is heaven on earth. When we truly believe this and act accordingly, our individual lives are transformed. But Carlo's vision extended beyond the individual. He believed that a widespread return to the Eucharist, a global recognition of Christ's real presence, would literally shift the spiritual landscape of the entire world. This is the shock he spoke of, not necessarily a single catastrophic event, but a profound, undeniable and world-altering recognition of God's presence, leading to an unprecedented era of peace, unity, and spiritual flourishing. It's a divine intervention, a grace-filled tsunami that will sweep across the globe, uniting hearts and bringing humanity closer to its divine purpose. So how do we practically prepare for and help usher in this era of peace through the Eucharist, according to Carlo Acutis? First and foremost, deepen your personal devotion to the Blessed Sacrament. Make regular Mass attendance and reception of Holy Communion the absolute center of your week. Don't just go through the motions, approach the altar with profound reverence and a burning desire to receive Christ. Secondly, become an apostle of the Eucharist, just like Carlo. Share your faith in the real presence with others, not in a preachy way, but through your joyful witness and simple explanations. Invite friends and family to join you for Mass or adoration. Support initiatives that promote Eucharistic devotion. Consider creating a Eucharistic corner in your home, a sacred space for prayer and reflection on Christ's presence. Carlo's entire life was about making Jesus in the Eucharist known and loved, because he knew it was the key to transforming the world. But this era of peace will surely bring its own set of challenges, requiring perseverance and continued vigilance. How can we sustain our faith and maintain our focus on Christ amidst such monumental change? And what specific actions can we take to ensure we are not just observers, but active participants in this divine unfolding? Our next segment will explore Carlo's call to personal holiness and unwavering trust, providing the final pieces of this incredible spiritual puzzle. We've journeyed through Carlo Acutis' profound teachings, moving from spiritual awareness and Eucharistic protection to divine mercy, the communion of saints, and his hopeful vision of an era of peace, ushered in by the Eucharist. We've seen how each piece builds upon the last, preparing us for the truly world-shaking transformations ahead. Now, in this crucial segment, we'll dive into the final, indispensable pillars of Carlo's message, the urgent call to personal holiness, and an unwavering, childlike trust in God. These are the qualities that will not only sustain us through the shock, but allow us to thrive within it. Carlo Acutis was a modern saint, yet his message about holiness was timeless and simple: become who you are meant to be. He understood that personal holiness isn't about being perfect or performing extraordinary feats. It's about striving daily, to live a life aligned with God's will, to love as Christ loved, and to radiate his light in the world, He believed that the shock to come would demand individuals of profound spiritual integrity, men and women, whose lives were clear reflections of divine love. This level of personal holiness, achieved through consistent effort and God's grace, is what truly anchors us when the world around us is shifting. The signs that highlight the critical need for personal holiness are pervasive. Look at the widespread moral relativism, the erosion of virtue, and the despair that often accompanies a life devoid of spiritual purpose. These are not just societal trends, they are indicators of a profound spiritual vacuum that only God can fill. When individuals compromise their values, when communities lose their moral compass, the world becomes more vulnerable to darkness. Carlo Acutis, through his own bright example, showed that even in a complex, digital world, a life of profound holiness is not only possible, but urgently necessary. He understood that the greater the spiritual transformation, the greater the need for pure, courageous hearts to lead the way. Personal holiness is not an exclusive club, it's an open invitation to everyone. It means making conscious choices each day to grow in virtue, to overcome sin, and to draw closer to God. It means cultivating a spirit of humility, recognizing our dependence on God, and seeking His guidance in all things. It also means developing an unwavering trust in God's providence, believing that He is always in control, even when circumstances seem chaotic or overwhelming. Carlo's life was a testament to this trust. He faced illness and death with a serene confidence, knowing that God's plan was perfect, even if incomprehensible to us. This deep trust allows us to face any shock with peace, rather than fear. So how do we practically cultivate this personal holiness and unwavering trust, following Carlo Acutis' example? Start by committing to a daily examination of conscience, a few minutes each evening to reflect on your day. Where did you act with love and integrity? Where did you fall short? Offer a sincere prayer of repentance for your failures and ask God for the grace to improve. This consistent self-reflection is a powerful tool for growth. Secondly, practice acts of virtue in your daily life. Be patient with a difficult colleague, offer a kind word to a stranger, choose honesty over convenience, or forgive someone who has wronged you. These small, consistent acts build spiritual muscle. Most importantly, cultivate a deep, childlike trust in God. When faced with uncertainty or fear, consciously surrender your worries to Him. Pray, Jesus, I trust in you. Read stories of saints who faced immense trials with unwavering faith. Remember, Carlo Acutis embraced his cross with joy because he trusted completely in God's love and wisdom. This trust will be your greatest asset when the world begins to experience its profound transformation. But with all these preparations, what are the actionable steps we can take in the immediate future to solidify our spiritual foundation and actively participate in this coming shock? What does it look like to live these principles in our daily lives, starting now? Our final segment will provide concrete checklists for the next 24 hours, 7 days and 30 days, along with a powerful closing message and call to action. Get ready to put these profound insights into practice. We have journeyed together through the profound wisdom of Carlo Acutis, exploring his urgent call to spiritual awareness, the impenetrable shield of the Eucharist, the boundless ocean of divine mercy, the powerful intercession of the communion of saints, and his hopeful vision of an era of peace yet to come. We've understood that the shock he hinted at isn't a moment of despair, but a profound spiritual unveiling, a transformation of the world guided by God's love. Now, the question remains: how do we translate these deep insights into practical, actionable steps in our daily lives, starting right now? Carlo Acutis wasn't just a theorist. He was a doer. He showed us that faith is lived, not just believed. The time for passive waiting is over. The coming transformation demands our active participation, our open hearts, and our committed actions. To navigate this extraordinary future, to truly be part of ushering in this era of peace, we must begin to live differently, embracing the spiritual tools he so powerfully championed. Your journey of preparation starts today, with simple, yet profound steps. For the next 24 hours, I invite you to implement these immediate actions. First, Dedicate a moment, even just 5 minutes, to quiet prayer as soon as you wake up. Simply sit in silence and ask God to open your eyes to His presence in your day. Second, make a conscious effort to find one moment of grace or beauty in your ordinary routine, whether it's the taste of your coffee, a kind word from a colleague, or a beautiful cloud formation. Acknowledge it as a gift. Finally, before you go to sleep, offer a brief prayer of gratitude for the day, and sincerely ask for forgiveness for any moment you fell short, embracing God's mercy. This small practice begins to shift your awareness. Over the next 7 days, build upon this foundation. Commit to attending Mass and receiving the Eucharist at least once, approaching it with a renewed sense of awe and gratitude for Christ's real presence. If possible, spend 5 to 10 minutes in Eucharistic adoration, or simply acknowledge Christ's presence in a nearby church. Second, choose one saint whose story inspires you, perhaps Carlo Acutis himself, and learn a little more about their life. Ask for their intercession for a specific intention each day. Third, identify one small act of kindness you can perform for someone else this week, without expecting anything in return. Let your actions be a testament to the love of Christ. These consistent efforts deepen your spiritual roots. Looking ahead, for the next 30 days, let's establish habits that will truly transform your spiritual life and prepare you for the profound changes. First, make daily prayer a non-negotiable part of your routine. This could be a morning offering, a few minutes of scripture reading, or a daily rosary. Consistency is key. Second, commit to the sacrament of reconciliation at least once in this period, embracing it as the bath for the soul that Carlo described, allowing God's mercy to cleanse and renew you. Third, consciously work on cultivating one specific virtue, such as patience, humility, or charity. Focus on it in your interactions and ask God for the grace to grow in it. Finally, consider how you can share the hope of Christ with someone else, not through preaching, but through your joyful witness and genuine care. These practices will not only prepare you, but empower you to be a beacon of light in the coming era of peace. The journey ahead may seem daunting, but remember the unwavering trust of Carlo Acutis. He knew that with God, all things are possible. The shock that is coming is not to be feared, but embraced as a divine opportunity for humanity to draw closer to its Creator. It is a promise of profound spiritual awakening, a moment when the light of Christ, so powerfully present in the Eucharist, will illuminate the world in unprecedented ways. Be ready, be aware, be a saint. The world is about to witness something truly extraordinary, and you are called to be a part of it. If this message resonated with you, if you feel this stirring in your soul, then subscribe to this channel to continue exploring these profound truths and comment below what you thought of this video.